I am so pumped for that.
Johnny Depp was spending 360 grand a year on wine
Jeez. Chat, I'm not gonna lie. When I looked into the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, it kind of made me sad, and this might come off the bad way, but I think we got gaslit. I honestly think Johnny Depp was low-key in the wrong. The more I looked into that situation. And I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be a simp or a white knight, but because like I was all the whole like Amber turd, Amber shit, fuck that bitch, blah 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 back when it was popular, but I think we made a mistake.
bottles, while Nicolas Cage's bankruptcy included 9 Rolls Royces
Wrong.
and his own private island. However, there are
What
few
the
actor
fuck?
bankruptcies stranger than Kim Basinger's, who thought it was smart to pay $20 million for an entire country town.
An entire country town? You can buy whole ass towns?
Braselton, Georgia had only 2 shops and 500 local residents, one of which describing the town by stating breading chicken is about the most exciting thing we do around here, which made the reason for Kim's purchase.
I'll let you have your opinion, Lamau. He wasn't innocent as he made himself. I mean, no, they were both fucked up and stuff like that. But when I saw like the leaks of like how bad Johnny Depp was with drinking, and I saw his past three like 2 or 3 arrest charges for like domestic violence from past partners and all that shit, bro. Like it just kind of put in perspective. I think Amber was toxic and crazy, but I think that motherfucker was insane. She's shit creep. Like like you just gotta look into Johnny Depp as a person more, I think, and I think you can really see what happened there. Is he made himself, to be honest? Nah, his lawyer definitely did work. This shit's creaked it, and then Amber Heard's lawyer was trash.
Even more stupid. She planned on turning the town into a Hollywood tourist attraction by building a major film and recording studio with the added bonus of a theme park, homes and shopping centers at a time when Braselton's economic conditions were so atrocious. Another local resident stated, if we talk about the economy, everybody gets
Get
depressed. Given the
depressed.
real Hollywood was on the other side of the country, it's no surprise that the
Listen, as the man, you don't have to be violent to hurt a woman. Trust me, bro. Like some of the most fucked up things I've ever done have been driving girls crazy when I was younger and in the past. Like I'll say that. Like like I one of my and this is just me being real, bro. I was dating this one girl. I was like, why is this girl so crazy? And what happened? We were so happy, and I was like, I drove her crazy. I drove her mad. You know, that's why she acts this way. It's my fault. Then fuck my mind, and literally like for a long time I had to like take space away from talking to people, and because I did have a tendency to play mind games, and I got out of a 12-year relationship, and so basically here's what happened. I got out of a 12-year relationship, and then I was in a 1-year relationship, and I got fucked over by both of them, and so I kind of had like a phase where like I didn't like the women I talked to, maybe I wasn't taking the relationship as serious as I should, and I saw how negatively it affected them, how bad I hurt some people, and um, it was something wrong, and I had to like take space and heal as a person and realize that like even though I was hurting and going through something about this take, what the fuck are you talking about? It's not a take. It's a story, bro. It's just something that happened. Motherfucker is like, I don't know about this tape. Bro, it just happened. I've had it happen both. Let me tell you, it takes longer to heal from mind games than being hit. Yeah, I mean, bro, like, I'm not perfect. I'm sorry. Oh, it's rough, but a normal thing. Yeah, like, I'll say, like, after I got out of, like, I went through a 12-year and a 1 year, I got out of it. And, oh, yeah, yeah. I, uh, I was really, like, in a manho phase, I guess, but not in the way, like, I was fucking. I wasn't fucking, because, like, but more of just, like, you know, not committing to anything, feeding people line, um, things like that. And, like I was having like attachment problems where I would see someone and I'd imagine like a crazy future and get super attached to them. And then like 2 weeks would go by and I would feel nothing for them. And I'd lose all emotion, all connection, all everything. And I'd just like be like, ew, completely disgusted by them. And Like I don't know what happened to me, bro. It really was a fucked up thing I went through, and I literally had to just be alone for a long time. Just been how things ended in the first way. It was crazy, bro. It was crazy, and being on social media doesn't help. It really doesn't fucking help.
Project failed, forcing Kim to resell the town for $4.3 million, locking in a $15.7 million loss and the
15
alienation of her
million.
entire family who'd also bought into the project. The stress from the town's failure then caused Kim to pull out of a movie she was starring in, prompting the producers to successfully sue her for $8.9 million, which Kim couldn't pay.
You had to declare bankruptcy. You made everything and then lost everything.
Lost everything. Every single thing.
But at least Kim Basinger still had her
the
freedom,
fuck?
as Wesley Snipes' bankruptcy was so brutal, it also put him in prison. He'd earned over
What?
$50 million from a range of different roles, although despite purchasing an Aston Martin Vanquish, as well as mansions in both Florida and New Jersey, Wesley
Break my
refused to
mind. Dude, that's like my biggest fear. Listen, chat. No matter how big me and Ben get on Twitch or anything, or anything like that, we will never buy a mansion. We will never buy fancy cars. We will never do, like me and Ben made that promise to each other. Like, I feel like that's the dumbest thing you could do once you get money. That's so stupid. Chat, literally, if me and Ben ever fucking lose ourselves one day, I give you permission to fucking kill me in Minecraft. Does it take you say you'd rather be your head in itself? I feel like it would probably have to do with like how bad the mind fucking is, and then like what you've been through, and it's that's gonna be like a really personal thing. Because I've been through both. I've had abuse, physical and emotional abuse from someone I've dated, and um, it really depends. It really depends. Was the compound? No, I'll buy an old warehouse, but it's not gonna be fancy. Listen. I think that like one thing about me I'll always hate um things like mansions and fancy influencers and this and this and that. Um how do you even lose that much? Bad investments. It happened to my extended family. Yeah, like for me, bro, like I'll always just remain chill, like small house, low vibe, low key to myself. Like this is how I am.
lodge a single tax
What's up,
return
G2, by
over
the
a
way?
7-year period, and was therefore
He didn't do taxes for 7 years and made $50 million. Be true to yourself. Exactly. Live within your means. Like I tell people all the time. Like, bro, people, all these like girls whip me up and they're like on TikTok and guys like, yo, come to LA, bro. Come hang out with us in LA. I'm like, bro, I'm I'm I make like minimum wage, bro. I'm not gonna come to LA. Like, the fuck are you guys doing? I don't know. I don't know. Is your daddy's paying for this shit? I don't know who the fuck pays for all this stuff.
order to pay the IRS
Jeez, pay
$23.5
your
million.
taxes,
Wesley
Chad.
tried to wiggle his way out of paying by making the strange claim that he was a non-resident alien of the United States despite being born there.
He knew he had to pay the taxes.
Uh-huh.
He was just trying to find ways to avoid them.
Although things got a whole lot weirder when Snipes declared he had no taxable US income, making the IRS Form 1040 absolutely the wrong form for me to file. He also claimed taxes withheld were stolen funds, whilst adding the IRS deceives people to terrorize, enslave, rape, or pillage taxpayers. Although confronting the IRS was a very stupid strategy, as Wesley was immediately charged with 6 counts of willfully failing to file federal income tax returns, for which he was given a federal prison sentence.
Oh my
Wesley Snipes
God.
gets 3 years behind bars.
In
3
2018, 5
years?
years after being released from prison, Wesley Snipes still hadn't paid $1 toward his tax bill and would try to settle the $23.5 million debt by instead offering the IRS $842,000, which they understandably rejected. Wesley then tried arguing economic hardship, but the court said no to that too, instead dropping his tax bill to $9.5 million, which it seems he hasn't paid either. Avoiding a tax bill for
That's
15 years might
insane.
almost make him a genius. However, when Heidi Montag blew through $10 million, there was zero intelligence anywhere.
Straight up
Reality
shit.
television was the
Dang.
source of her wealth, appearing in The Hills, Big Brother, and I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Outta Here. Although when these types of shows completely disappeared, Heidi instead began recording music, spending $2 million on her very first album.
$2 million on your first album ever? What the fuck? Her husband annoys me. I've never even heard of this person, to be fair.
She'd state, "I put every dollar I have into this. I've spent over $1 million, almost $2 million on this album. It's cost as much or more than a Britney Spears album because I wanted it to be that quality. The songs will make an impact in pop history. It sold only 1,000 copies." In case losing $2 million on a worthless album wasn't bad enough, she'd talk about her daily life by stating, "Every time we'd go out to eat, we'd order $4,000 bottles of wine. Heidi was going to the mall and dropping $20,000 to $30,000 a
What the fuck?
day. We thought we were Jay-Z and Beyonce. Heidi's outrageous spending was justified because we heard that the planet was going to end in 2012.
No way!
We thought we have to spend this money before the asteroid hits, although the peak of her stupidity was still yet to come. With the money running low, Heidi faked a divorce with her husband, who explained the split was designed to create fresh interest in his wife for a potential British TV project. Divorcing was the only way to keep Heidi's career going, although this failed to do anything.
She was on Laguna Beach, spin off the hills.
Heidi Montag had to lose every penny before finally learning her lesson.
We live too in the moment. People say live in the moment. Well, we did. You know, we didn't really think about our futures.
All of which could have easily been learned by researching Nicolas Cage. National Treasure had brought his net worth to $150 million, prompting him to spend $25 million on a waterfront primary residence, although Nick also felt the need to buy a holiday home. He'd therefore spend a further $15 million on a Rhode Island countryside mansion.
I couldn't even imagine having one of these homes.
Also picking up an $8.5 million apartment for his weekends away in Las Vegas. But what about his weekends in the Bahamas?
That's why he's done so many short cut budget films.
Well, for that he dropped $3 million on his own private island, but this didn't do anything.
I like how the private island is cheaper than his houses.
For his trips to Europe, for which he'd spent a further $12.3 million on 2 medieval castles, where he'd spent huge sums on enormous Gatsby-style parties. By 2007, Nicolas Cage...
It doesn't, honestly, people like Nick Cage, it doesn't even matter if they go broke or whatever. You know what an amazing life he's lived, what he's seen, we can only imagine the type of parties he's been to, places he's traveled, all this, it's probably insane. Even if he just has a crazy life for 15 years, that's kind of crazy.
Cage had bought 15...
Chat, would you take 15 years of, just insane life? You could go wherever, do whatever, party with, you had life at your fingertips. But after that, you had to go back and work a menial job in, a small town for the rest of your life. Nothing really exciting happening other than just regular shit. But you have 15 years of insanity.
Different houses, where he'd keep his 26 different vehicles, including 4 yachts, 9 Rolls Royces, and a nearly $3 million vintage Bugatti. Although this wasn't as old as his $276,000 dinosaur skull, kept next to a bookshelf holding a $150,000 Superman comic. Throughout the houses lived a $150,000 pet octopus, an $80,000 two-headed snake, and a pair of albino king cobras that set him back $150,000. To add a cherry on top of the cake, Nick purchased his own extravagant gravesite for a price of $40,000, finally concluding his crazy spending spree just months before the global financial crisis.
The real estate market crashed and I couldn't get out in time.
At around the same time, he began receiving fewer high-paying roles, and with 6 different loans on his Bel Air mansion, plus mortgages on every other property, Nicolas Cage was headed toward bankruptcy. By 2009, he owed a further $6.2 million in unpaid taxes, forcing him to sell almost everything, most of which at a loss. His $15 million Rhode Island mansion resold for $9.5 million, while his $276,000 dinosaur skull was taken by the government after they discovered it was originally stolen.
When the Mongolian government said that they needed it back,
what the fuck?
I gave it to them, but I never got my money back.
Nick launched a $20 million lawsuit against his former manager, stating, Cage discovered that he is now forced to sell major assets and investments at a significant loss and is faced with huge tax liabilities, although his manager clapped back by claiming he advised Cage against buying a Gulfstream jet, against buying and owning a flotilla of yachts, against buying and owning a squadron of Rolls Royces, and against buying millions of dollars in jewelry and art. The lawsuit was eventually dismissed as ridiculous, forcing Nick to take on low-quality acting roles purely to avoid bankruptcy.
It may not have been blue chip, but it would still work.
When asked how much has money driven your work choices, Nick stated there are times when it's more of a factor than not, before adding, I had this pride thing where I wanted to work my way through anything, which Nicolas Cage has since done quite successfully, unlike Randy Quaid, who gave up Hollywood to chase conspiracy, bankruptcy, and all-round insanity. By appearing in Independence Day, Brokeback Mountain, and every National Lampoon movie, Randy Quaid became a multi-millionaire.
I have earned approximately $40 million throughout my career.
However, despite winning a Golden Globe and being nominated for an Oscar, Randy's career came to a screeching halt halfway through 2009. Why? Well, it began after he and his wife were arrested for trying to use a fake card to pay a $10,000 hotel bill, after which both refused to appear in court. After the case eventually settled, Randy and his wife were once again arrested, this time for squatting inside a vacant house they'd previously owned. However, things only got weirder from here. Randy and his wife began to claim they were being chased by a group called Starwhackers who were trying to kill Hollywood celebrities.
How many people do you know personally who have died suddenly and mysteriously in the past 5 years?
While also claiming the group was somehow controlling their finances.
If things keep going the way they are, and we don't do something about it to expose these people, my wife and I will be out on the street, and we'll have nothing to eat. Okay, that's how bad it is.
As a solution, Randy fled to Canada, where he'd begin to upload his conspiracies to YouTube.
A day of reckoning is nigh. Wake up!
After which he was arrested for a third time whilst trying to sneak back into America.
The Oscar-nominated actor and his wife in jail this morning after being arrested at the Canadian border in Vermont.
Exactly where Randy's $40 million went isn't entirely clear. However, Kelly Rutherford has been extremely open about how she spent her fortune on lawyers. After gaining international stardom for appearing in Gossip Girl, Kelly had two kids with a German man who wasn't a US citizen. Appearing in Gossip Girl, Kelly had two kids with a German man who wasn't a
Independence Day has finally gotten nuts. He's just become like his character.
US citizen. The couple divorced in 2009 and began to argue about custody, with a judge ruling the kid should live with their father in Europe, as he wasn't permitted to return to America.
Because he can't come into the US, the children have to be in now France.
Yes.
The situation was so strange and unique, Kelly spent every penny she had trying to regain custody.
It's cost you, what, about $2.5 million already?
It's cost me everything I've ever made, my everything.
And as a result, she filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy midway through the court case, having assets worth only $24,000 compared to liabilities totaling $2 million. On top of this, Kelly owed more than $350,000 in back taxes, $25,000 in Amex charges, and had a monthly income of just under $1,300. Although despite spending everything she'd ever earned, her efforts failed to impact the court's final choice.
Gossip Girl star Kelly Rutherford stunned and fighting back tears after losing a bitter custody battle today in New York Supreme Court.
Kelly's spending was out of complete necessity, whereas Johnny Depp's spending $650 million was nothing but complete stupidity.
$650 million? $500 million?
2012, he was listed as the world's highest paid actor by the Guinness Book of Records. Although despite earning $900 million over a 13-year period, he spent the money so poorly Conan O'Brien joked that he must have gotten financial advice from Nicolas Cage. Similar to Cage, Depp purchased 14 different properties, including his own Bahamian private island, multiple countryside mansions, and a $60 million village in France. Although
he bought a $60 million village?
Was Johnny Depp's day-to-day expenses that might have been even crazier. A 2017 lawsuit revealed he was burning $2 million a month on $200,000 for a private jet, $150,000 on security for himself and his family, $300,000 on staff including 40 full-time employees, and $30,000 on wine, which was confirmed during his trial with Amber Heard. However, Johnny Depp's craziest purchase was when he spent $3 million on his friend Hunter S. Thompson's funeral by firing his ashes out of a rocket-like cannon. Just like Nicolas Cage, Johnny Depp tried to sue his management company TMG, although they'd respond with their own lawsuit stating, Depp chose time and again to ignore TMG and all of his other advisors. Depp truly has no one but himself to blame for his current financial and personal circumstances.
Oh, wine is crazy, especially how often it was, bro. Like,